Welcome, everybody, to this new episode of Spanish Loops. On the other side, it is Jorge Roman from travelingwithjorge.com. And
Hola.
this, hola, Jorge. And on this side, it's me, Francisco, from travelingthesteps.es.
Mhm.
Hola, Jorge. ¿Cómo
Hola,
estás, amigo?
Francisco. I'm good. Thank you so much. How's everything on your
Uh,
side?
Everything doing fantastic. Excited to talk about uh, art this week.
Yes,
So,
start.
very happy. Why don't we get some music? Let's get our intro and let's talk about art in a moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, Francisco, we are talking about art.
But very precise art, not any art. We're going to be talking about arte mudéjar.
Spell it, please.
Mudejar.
Correct. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Arte mudéjar. What does this word mean, Jorge?
Mudejar. Actually, Mudejar, the origin of the term comes from the Arabic word mudayin. And mudayin means something like those who are allowed to stay.
Okay.
Yes.
So the word means those who are allowed to stay.
If you think a little bit beyond that, that means that if it is Mudejar and it's Arabic, that means those who are allowed to stay is because when the Spanish Inquisition or when the Christian monarchs were conquering territories of the Arabs in the Iberian Peninsula,
Mhm.
those were those who were allowed to stay. That means that they converted to Christians.
Okay. So then what is mudéjar art?
Okay, the Mudejar art is the art developed by those artists, those who remain here. That is precisely what it is. Okay?
So it is ex-Muslim artists working
Converted,
now,
converted to
converted to
Christians.
Christianism,
Mhm.
converted. It could be yes, but could be fake converted, but converted.
Yeah.
Then now they work for Christianity.
And specifically using mainly brick, plaster, ceramics, and wood. All that compendium is the Mudejar
Mudéjar.
art.
So before we go into details, where can we find Mudéjar art?
Very good question, Francisco, because when the Arabic Empire expanded, and they expanded all over the Mediterranean, in the northern part of the Mediterranean, and also in the, of course, in the southern part, which is north of Africa. Many people could say that it could be found anywhere in the southern Europe, touching the water of the Mediterranean Sea, but no, it's exclusive just of the Iberian Peninsula. And in the Iberian Peninsula, we have two countries, as we know,
So,
Portugal and Spain.
so just in the peninsula.
Just in the Iberian Peninsula. That's right.
So if we go into Morocco, which is pretty much similar, that is not Mudéjar art.
No,
That is
no, because
Arabic.
it's not those who were allowed to stay.
Okay, okay, they're going to be Muslim constructions constructed by Muslims. Okay,
That's
now,
right.
okay.
That's
So,
correct.
what does, how can we identify Mudéjar art? You say that it's going to be brick, tiles, and wood.
Yeah, plaster and wood.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how can we get consist? What does it consist? What is it? Mudéjar art.
Well, anything that looks Arabic in the Iberian Peninsula. And the date of construction is from in some areas from the 12th century and some areas from 13th onwards.
Okay, so wherever we see something that looks Moorish, Muslim,
Yeah,
okay,
Arabic. Yeah,
in Spain, Arabic, it is Mudéjar art.
yeah, that's
But
correct. I mean, we have many examples that we're going to talk about. It's not all of them because there is endless. You know, the list of buildings is really endless. But yeah, that's it. You know, it's a style that, as I said, typical from the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal. I insist, it must be taken into account that it's limited to the territories that has been previously occupied by the Muslims. For instance, Mudejar art is almost non-existent in Galicia, although they reached Galicia, but not long enough to develop the art there. Okay, and you know very well that in the Cantabrian coast of, or in Catalonia, Navarra, your place to be where you're living, there's almost non-existent. There's only a few examples of them in the northern part of those territories.
Yeah. I mean, it's concentrated from the Camino de Santiago to the south.
Correct.
So we have to think that the first steps of the Spanish reconquest were from the north, okay, from the north of Spain going to the south. So, as you're saying, in the northern part is where we can barely find any of these Mudejar art. But in the moment you go to from Madrid, a little bit higher from Madrid down is where you see all of the Mudejar style.
Actually, you know, if you get the today's border in between France and Spain on the Mediterranean, okay, and then the Galicia, which is the northwesternmost point of Spain, you know, just east and west here, it makes like a kind of an arch like this. So in, let's say in Catalonia, there's a few examples, but reaching near Catalonia, as we always say in this podcast, forget about borders, how they are nowadays, okay? So in those days, the border was the Kingdom of Aragon and the Kingdom of Castilla. They merged together with Isabel and Fernando marrying together and making that big empire. So in the, what it was the very first steps of the Castilian kingdom into the Aragon. There's a region nowadays called Aragon, by the way. One of those provinces is Teruel. And Teruel, there is some beautiful, beautiful examples of that Mudejar style. Okay, actually, there's the Church of St. Martin, and it's, you know, one of jewels, which is a compendium of 4 towers together, and is believed to be one of the most pure examples of the Mudejar style.
So if we talk about masterpieces, pieces that you need to visit, where if you have to make a top list of Mudejar style places, I know I'm putting you in the spot and you're going to have to select some of them because there are many, but which ones are the ones?
Depends where you go. I mean, if you go to Toledo, the entire, I would say most of the city is a beautiful example of the Mudejar style. Most of it. And that's one that city of Toledo can be seen in my tour of Madrid and Imperial cities, you know, and which is just a 9 nights, 10 days stay in Madrid. We sleep every night in the same hotel, and then we do like day tours. And of course, we visit Toledo, which is only 1 hour south of Madrid. Yeah, that's in the center of Spain. To me, the most important place if you really want to see a beautiful example of that. There are many, many other places, but Toledo per se has a compendium of many constructions. And then continuing with my top list. Oh God. Well, I mean, one of the beautiful examples of the Mudejar style is the Royal Palace of Sevilla, the Alcázar. Yeah, that's right.
That is, I would say, yes, one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. We all know that, and we have said this many times here in this podcast, that the Arabic invasion in Spain took from 711 up until 1492. But the city of Sevilla, the area of Sevilla, was conquered by the king at the time, Fernando Ferdinand III, and it was in the year 1248. Sevilla is in the western part of the south of the Iberian Peninsula, and Granada, still Arabic at the time, was in the eastern part of the south of the Iberian Peninsula. So if you see the border at the time, they were considered like 2 neighbor kingdoms, one Arabic and the other already Christian. But they were neighbor countries. So they had to cope with each other. They had to cooperate. They had to work together. And in fact, the kingdom, the monarchs of the time in each side, they were cooperating, and they were just like having agreements of trading, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so yes, the that Mudejar style is a very good example in the Alcázar of Sevilla that was
Okay.
made by the same artist that they worked at the Alhambra at the time.
Okay. So the royal palace in Sevilla, it is Mudejar,
Yes.
while the Alhambra is not Mudejar.
No, because it was made while they were still dominating the place.
Okay, okay. That's why they look so much alike.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny because when you go to the Royal Palace, if you only see it, if you just go, blah, 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 you see, oh, it's like the Alhambra.
Yeah.
But then
No,
you
it's
start
not.
looking at details, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, there's a lot of differences. I mean, in the Alhambra, you're not going to find human figures. In the Royal Palace, you have
That's right.
faces, which
Yeah.
Muslims, they do not represent. But for Christianity, they did. You have words in our calligraphy, okay, in Latin calligraphy,
Yeah.
while we also have at the Royal Palace in Arabic, but in the Alhambra only. Okay, so the difference is Alhambra is all Muslim, constructed by Muslims under Muslim regime, while the Royal Palace in Sevilla, it is Muslims or ex-Muslims working for a Christian kingdom.
Correct. And it's very funny that you mentioned that there is human figures and faces in the Royal Palace, the Alcázar of Sevilla, and that is one of the highlights that is included in the courtyard of the maidens into the Alcázar, and around the different rooms of the palace, they are distributed. There is a wonderful, I think it's 24 lobed arches in the ground floor, the hall of the ambassadors. I mean, to me, it's one of the most beautiful palatial rooms in Spain. The ornamentation, including a lavish wooden dome, it makes us believe that we are in one of the most unique and beautiful mosques in the world.
It
And it's
is.
next to the cathedral. The cathedral is a real example of Christian, nothing Mudejar there, right? But
Well, what about the Giralda? What about the tower?
well, the tower is the only part of the great mosque that from Sevilla that remains. In fact, the tower of the cathedral of Sevilla, now called Giralda, I will explain now why it's called Giralda. Okay, is a twin tower of the mosque that is located in the center of Marrakesh, made by the same architect. What happens is when Sevilla was taken over the Christians of the Muslims, they demolished the entire temple, the mosque, to build the cathedral. But they left the tower and they added some floors just to place the bell towers in it. But the tower, you can tell that is not Mudejar. It's not Mudejar style. It's just Arabic style because it was made when the Muslims were in the place.
Okay.
Now, why is called Giralda, the Cathedral of Sevilla? No, the Cathedral of Sevilla is the Cathedral of Sevilla. It has a name.
The tower.
But the Giralda is the tower. But it gets the name because at the very top, there is a lady with a huge kind of a veil that from the distance, many people might believe or see that it's a satellite dish. It's not. It's just a wind vane. Okay. So sometimes you see her with the back facing you or the face facing you, so that means that the wind has changed direction. And what does a wind vane makes? Rotate. How do you say rotate in Spanish? Girar. 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 Giralda from girar. That's why it's called La Giralda.
Okay. So, Jorge, you have chosen only one. The Royal Palace in Sevilla, okay?
Yeah.
The Alcázar in Sevilla. Another master of the Mudejar art in Spain, in the southern Spain.
Yeah. There's a little place historical in the city of Cordoba. Very small, and there is always a long line. I mean, if you get there and there is no line, you consider yourself lucky and go in. Don't think about it. Just go in. It's the synagogue of Cordoba. Yeah, not the cathedral mosque. That's a different thing, okay? That's nothing to do with Mudejar style. We're talking about the synagogue of Cordoba. It's one of those, another of those places that is a must be seen. One of the few historical Spanish synagogues that has survived to the present day, and the only one in Andalusia that has survived. So that's quite important.
It still runs as a synagogue?
No. It's quite reminiscent of the synagogue of the Transit in Toledo, although it's smaller. It was built in 1314. The worship is quadrangular area ornamented with plasterwork, decorates the four walls, and is a reminiscent of Islamic ataurics. The space is covered with a covered ceiling 6 meters above the ground. There is a small niche with a polypoloid arch at the western wall. Is very reminiscent of the hall of the Transit Synagogue. By the way, the Transit Synagogue is located in Toledo. Okay, that's why I was telling you earlier that Toledo, the entire thing is, just a must see. And getting back into the Synagogue of Cordoba, this space is considered one of the, let's say, top 10 sites of the Mudejar styles in Spain, and it's located in Cordoba. By the way, Francisco allowed me to say that everything that we have mentioned about this Mudejar style, they are included in two of my tours, okay? The Toledo sites are included in my tour, Madrid and the Imperial Cities. And Toledo is a day visit. We also visit some other sites, but we have podcasts about our tours done already. And also the tour in the south of Spain, the essence of southern Spain, we are visiting the Alhambra. Okay, but that is real Arabic, 100% Arabic. Also, we're visiting many other places, my hometown as well, in Malaga. We're visiting sites that they have that Arabic touch. But then we go to Sevilla, we go to Cadiz, and then we go to Cordoba, and we visit the mosque, and we see the synagogue as well. So those things are included there.
So if anybody wants to discover all of this magnificent art, which is really, I cannot explain it only with words. You have to see it. You have to experience it. It's the beauty, and something that you have said. You have Muslims working for Christians, Muslims working for Jews. It's a moment where the three monotheistic religions, they were here and they were kind of living okay, and it was okay. Okay, so if you want to learn about it, the best place is Jorge's tours. Okay, you can find all the information on his website, travelingwithjorge.com, and Jorge will show you and bring all of these constructions to life.
Also, if you just Google me in any social media, Instagram, Facebook, etc., I keep posting things from those places. And, consider those as teasers if you want to come over and see them.
I know. Yes, really, to see Andalusia with the hands of Jorge, it's a breathtaking experience.
Great.
So, Jorge, anything else you want to add to this conversation about Mudejar art today?
Yes, there is one thing that I cannot wait to share all this with whoever comes to Spain. So here we are, both of us, and chicos, on my side is everything for this week. I hope to see you all on the waves next week. Francisco, it's been a pleasure. Thank
Jorge,
you again.
Thank you so much for enlightening us with all of your knowledge about Mudejar art. And everybody, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you have enjoyed our conversation. You have learned a little bit. If you have learned at least one thing, please give us a thumb up. Okay, if you want to thank us for what we are doing here, the best way is share our podcast in YouTube, on Spotify, anything. Give us a thumb up.
Absolutely.
All of those. Leave us a little comment on YouTube, because all of that helps us position so we can share more of our passion with Spain with everybody. Jorge, thank you very much. I shall see you next week.
Adios, Francisco. Adios, everybody.
Adios, amigos.
And as usual, we want to thank all our listeners for being there every week, letting us sharing our talks. Follow us in Spanish Loops in Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite platform.
And in Instagram, you can find us as the Spanish Loops Podcast, no spaces altogether. If you want to find us the quickest way, just Google Spanish Loops Podcast and you will find us. Hasta la vista, amigos.
See you next week.